stones turned press when they all came out. On the string of deep thought that can never be bought. Body rock, don't stop, bebop, the hip hop's cold as ice, so I stared at the floor.
I think that's a good. I think that's good. I think that's a good mix. Just, ladies and gentlemen, we are live here on the To Be Determined show. My overlay is a little fucked up here.
This is how big my asshole is right now.
It's okay. It's pilot episode.
Pilot episode. We have tech issues. It's the pilot episode.
The FCC hasn't gotten to us yet, so.
Oh, yeah.
There we are. Well, you know what? Here, let me just move these here. And we're good. We're see magic. We're magic. I'm just Twitch magic. See, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show. We are a podcast about stuff. Is more or less the tagline that we will be going with for now. My name is Cam. I am your first and foremost host and creator of this, along with podcasts that we will touch on at some point. But for now, welcome. You can follow me here. I think it's at Truth Unarmed if you want to find out more about myself. You can find me there.
I'm not Gordon 40.
You know what? We'll fix that later. We'll fix it in post. It's fine. To the left of me.
I hate you for saying that, first of all.
To the left of me, it's not at Topiner. It's my boy Ethan.
Ew.
Yeah, Cowboy Cryptid.
Hello, everyone. If you want to, you can follow me on Twitter at Cowboy Cryptid. I do not post as regularly as Cam does, but you can find me some days on there, if you'd like.
Below Ethan, you can find my ever lovely co-host,
Your boy.
Mr. Tyler Stone.
Your boy.
Your boy.
The original.
You can find him at Groden42 if you.
True.
Yeah.
Looking at me, your nudes. Send nudes, please.
Send nudes, please. You can find him at Topiner, where he should be, which is here, but that's fine. And below me, in the bottom right corner, you can find our new friend Gordon.
Hello.
And you can find him at Groden42. You can find all of us at Groden42, actually. Just
you kind of get a grab bag of everybody.
Yeah, it's like
that's
that.
Just the way things are going.
It's like that one time at Anime North where our buddy Dylan got a grab bag with a watermelon candy in it.
Oh God, yes. That was so shitty. How much did he?
It was like a buck. It was like a buck for the watermelon candy.
I thought it was something like. Oh, that was for the big bags. It was like $15 or some shit.
Yeah, something like that.
Canadian anime conventions are clearly much more different than
American
anime conventions.
I don't want to know what goes on at American anime conventions, but I can
literally nothing different.
I have some stories to tell.
Oh well.
There's probably a few less matters involved, but
probably. Anyway, this show is a multimedia show for the most part. Where every week we will come here and we'll have one or two topics of some relevance that we will be talking about. But for the most part, this show is, as I've said, our introductory show. So, yeah, we'll work off of that. We're just gonna probably shoot the shit for a bit. I can see Tyler's. I don't know what you were doing with your tongue there, but.
I was cleaning my face off. Milk in my mustache, dude. It was milk.
There was something I said. So last night, I had my games laid out on my bed here, and I was gonna tell a story. I can't remember what it was. It had something to do with Sonic Adventure.
I like this one, and
So it had something to do with your dad, I think.
Oh yeah. So, 10-year-old me, a 13-year-old me. We're just gonna go up in ages here. We went on this cruise in grade 7, and I think Sonic Olympic Games had just come out at the time on both the Wii and the DS, and I had one of those old jumbo, super disgusting, ugly DS's, the ones that you could smack someone over the head with and actually kill them with it.
You mean the release DS?
Yeah, the release DS.
Holy shit.
And I'd lost like all my styluses or something for it. So we had stopped in Tampa, I think, and we went to an EB Games to like go buy more styluses. And they came in a pack of 3, and they had like a plastic tip and a plastic bottom with. Whoever designed this was like actually stupid. It had like a metal like in between bit.
Oh, so you could extend it.
Yes, you could extend it. So it's whatever. I've been playing the game. It's great. It's a good game. And then my dad was like, "Hey, Cam, like, let me play Sonic and Mario." The Olympic Games.
Did you really?
Let me play some of that. Let me play some of that Sonic. He's like, I feel like I could be an Olympic athlete one day. So you know what? Just hand it over, and I did, and fate befell me that day because we're sitting there on the cruise. He's going at it. He's doing the 100-meter dash or whatever. Where you gotta like swipe your fucking stylus back and forth faster.
It's just like a Mario Party minigame.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
And he's going at it, and then the tip of the stylus broke, but it severed like right where the metal starts. But he did not stop.
Oh, so he
kept me going, and he was,
no.
and he was.
That's
It was not even like he was just like doing this. He was pushing into it too.
Oh.
So
God.
the entire
Come on,
bottom
Bob Cook.
screen is just gone, and like I couldn't use it anymore because now I have to go in and go into the settings and make it like a glorified Game Boy SP because I literally can't play DS games now anymore. That broke my heart. So he bought me a DS Lite like when we got back off the cruise.
I had a
'cause
DS
he fell
Lite.
in.
Oh, those things were awesome.
Yeah, the last handheld device I had was a Game Boy Advance, so yeah, I think I'm the odd one out here when it comes to handheld gaming.
A Game Boy Advance,
The Game Boy Advance, it was a long time ago.
like the thing that came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Let me see. When did the Game Boy Advance?
Like the actual purple one that was like this
Forever
big. like-
And it had the 2 triggers on it.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. That thing's
I'm
like the
pretty
size
sure-
of a Vita now. Like, holy shit.
It
That was
actually,
like- that was
it
like-
actually is about the size of a Vita.
That was like one of my favorite handheld systems.
That thing
of all
came
time.
out in 2001.
Yeah, I
The
think I got
Advance, though,
mine
or
in
the Vita?
2002.
No,
or
the
3,
yeah, the
maybe.
Vita came out in 2001. Sony was ahead of their time. I know the
I was talking about that.
the Game Boy Advance came out in 2001.
Oh, you can't even see what it is.
What the hell is that?
It's fucking Luigi.
Sure it is.
It's a Luigi gummy.
Uh-huh.
My boy.
Yeah,
straight
Tyler
out of
somehow
this-
crafted a marijuana nug into it.
The fact that they sell that, like,
What, Luigi gummies or a Nintendo 3DS's?
Mario Kart gummies.
Mario Kart. Where do you even buy?
At the fucking grocery store, dude.
Huh.
Did you just order
what
those
kind of
off one
grocery
of
stores
those
you
like
go to?
They're,
Japanese candy crates?
no, they're Kellogg brand.
Dude, there was
See?
interesting.
Wow.
There was Nick and I were looking at something. Our friend Nick, who's in our Discord chat, him and I were looking at candies of some sort, and you could get like a bag. I forget what candies they were. They were like fruit candies or something. You get like a pound bag for like
Oh, shit.
$2 or something. It was dope.
Yo, you know the little like candy shaped things that you can pick up in both Super Mario Galaxy and in Skyward Sword?
Yes.
Like those are based off of an actual candy, and I've tried them, and they're like
Are they dope? Are they
they're
good?
pretty good. Yeah, I'll have to go through my like.
Candy's tasty. Don't get me wrong, candy's tasty. But I think chocolate's better. Just hands
Alright.
down.
I don't know.
I'm actually with you on that. There's not many candies I like. However, I will without fail buy a 1.9 pound bag of Sour Patch Kids for
Hell yeah,
$4.48 at your local Walmart. Sell out, boys. And I
Sponsored by
will eat
Walmart.
all of that. And I will eat all of that.
Ah.
Because Sour Patch Kids are the best candy to exist on the face of the earth.
let me just go off on a little thing here.
Oh, here we go.
'cause Where I work is at I work at a bowling alley in their arcade. So, like, I'm going to be giving out candy, like, all the time, basically. And like those big Sour Patch Kids are freaking insane. We've got like or whatever they're like bigger than normal too, and it's like because if you have the smaller ones, they like all the sour like
it falls off of them. Yeah.
It's that, and it also like is so acidy, it like destroys the inside of your
Oh
mouth.
Yeah.
And it hurts so fucking bad. But like, I always see like from what I've like discovered, the majority of people like more like fruity candies over like chocolate stuff. Like we hardly ever sell chocolate.
You know what?
I used to eat Skittles like all the time, but I'm boycotting them right now because they got rid of
The
lime
lime,
flavor.
yeah, because now that it's like
Fucking
green apple or something, it's gross.
And I was like,
Oh,
oh
that's
my
garbage.
god, stop!
Yeah. I'm gonna raise the Sour Patch Kids. I'm gonna say, fucking, what are they called? Fuzzy Peach. Fuzzy Peaches, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know what you're
These are
talking
so
about.
chewy though.
They're
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
good.
it's a hassle to work through those. I mean, I'm willing to sacrifice my mouth and my body for some Sour Patch Kids, but I don't know the fuzzy peaches.
Fuzzy Peaches
Aren't
got me
those,
through.
like-
They got me
aren't those,
through
like,
the
the-
Assassin's Creed movie.
What about the Sour
Yeah.
Patch watermelons though?
You know, I commend you just for
Really?
sitting through that movie.
I
Actually,
commend myself for sitting through that movie as well.
I
Actually,
didn't even know that movie came out.
who was it Michael Fassbender that was the lead in that movie?
Yes, sir.
It's
that
a shame
movie,
because
that movie was
Michael Fassbender's a good actor.
dude. That movie was stacked. They had Michael Fassbender. They had Jeremy Irons. They had Marion Cotillard, who's been like the co-star to Michael Fassbender in like 6 movies now. Who else was in it? The dude who played Mad Eye Moody from the Harry Potter films, he was in it.
Oh yeah.
Like it was a bunch of like super big name actors, and that movie bored me to tears. Like the all the past stuff was really good. I don't want to discredit film like completely. I think it did hit its strides in certain areas, but like the fact that they came out and said like, hey, like this movie's gonna be like 70% in the present, with like the other 30% being in the past, like you immediately go like, why? Like you don't play the Assassin's Creed games because you want to learn about fucking Desmond Miles. You learn about you play the Assassin's Creed games because you want to be an assassin. So I think the 30% of the film that was in the past was really good. There was some issues with like camera cutting, like Tyler would know this just from being in film, just like the amount of camera like cutting back and forth, like it was like
You talk about like
it'd show like, for example, they'd show like Michael Fassbender like here, and then they'd like pan to like a different angle of him doing the same thing, and then they'd pan to a different angle of him doing the same thing, all within like 4 seconds.
It depends on whatever the director was trying to
It was really bad, is what the director was going for, I think. So you know what?
Like a lot of times during action movies, like a lot of action movies, they do that just to kind of like put the audience in the feeling of like
I get
really
that.
tense, but like I feel like it's hard to pull off.
I think one of the bigger issues with that like particular like type of thing that happened as well was they'd show like Michael Fassbender doing his assassin stuff in the past, and then like they'd cut to Michael Fassbender in the Animus attacking the air, doing the same thing that his like ancestor was doing, but it'd just be him being like like to nothing.
Well, playing devil's advocate here, that could be like, because we've seen at least in the games, we've seen like more than one type of Animus. They were both stationary, as opposed to being like this VR harness that they pulled off in the movies. And I mean, it could just be like, this is like a different variation or a different iteration of
I really like I really like the Animus they went with. I think it was I think it was an interesting take on it. And like I don't know if it's canon or not. Like no one said like this is in the universe. There's a lot of like small stuff that only like hardcore diehard fans would have noticed, like Connor's Connor's tomahawk is like in the film and like a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Wasn't Ubisoft one of the production companies?
on
it?
Let me check. Assassin's Creed movie. I think they were. I think they were like supervisors or something.
You know what movie didn't bore you to tears, Cam?
Dragon Ball Z.
Fucking Godzilla, my dude.
You know what?
Yo,
Yes.
that was on
dope.
that's been on TV the last like 2 days here.
Ubisoft Entertainment is in fact a production company. So.
Okay.
Now which Godzilla are we talking about?
The one that came out in 2014.
Okay, so the newest
That way,
American one. Okay.
that way y'all got them. Let them fight.
Ready them fight. Yeah, that movie's dope.
Gojira.
Was that the one that had like the game based off of it or whatever?
It had a
recently?
PS4 game based
Yeah.
off of it.
Yeah.
Really?
I loved
I heard
that
amazing things about it.
that he pronounced it Gojira, and
Gojira, yeah.
then it on the screen, like on the little map, and it had like the dot
Yeah.
of where he was at. It said Gojira, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, stop!
That
It's
movie.
too,
need to see the
it's
trailer
too
for this.
English.
That movie's dope. There are like a total of 8 minutes of Godzilla in the film. I think like you can find like on YouTube if you're interested in looking at it.
True.
It's like like you could type in Godzilla, all Godzilla like scenes, and it's like an 8-minute video. But
Is it from
Also-
2014?
Also, I felt
Yeah.
like the entire time,
2014.
video.
like when we went to go see it in theaters,
Your chat.
you and I were like trying to guess which monster that he was gonna fight.
oh yeah, and then it was
and
none of them.
And then it was none of them. We were like, we
Yeah.
feel kind of ripped off.
I call it
But-
I call it Nothra because it's kind of like
yeah,
Mothra.
it's
but not
basically
really.
Mothra, but like a bat.
Yeah, I think I know. Like with Kong Skull Island coming out, which we can touch on.
Oh, well,
I know the reason, like everybody realizes, like the reason they're making this film is because they've already announced Godzilla versus King Kong. Like that's down the
great
line.
crossover.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's literally the GameCube game from Godzilla all over
Yeah.
Oh
again.
fucking
Destroy all monsters.
destroy all monsters.
Yeah, I have that.
Oh,
somewhere
yeah.
near
we can
me.
touch Kong Skull Island, but we can touch it with a 10-foot pole because my expectations are seemingly in the dirt with that movie.
See,
Uh,
I don't know. I've watched like 3 trailers for that film, right? Like all 3 that they've put out, and each one has a different like feel to it. Like the first one they put out was a very Godzilla feel. It was like, oh, this is serious. They're going to Skull Island. Like they're gonna go fucking deal with King Kong. And then the next one they put out was like, what's his face? Riley. What's his?
John C. Reilly.
John C. Riley's like, hey guys, I'm in a cave and like monsters are attacking or whatever. Like, it didn't feel like the same kind of feeling. And then even the posters they've been putting out, they've most recently put out a poster for the IMAX version that is like a direct like copy of the Apocalypse Now poster, but like with Godzilla or with King Kong. So I don't know. That movie puzzles me.
How do you feel about did you watch the Super Bowl at all?
I do not watch football, so no.
Okay. Have you at least seen the trailer that they showed for Ghost in the Shell during the Super Bowl?
I did not. Was it good?
Yeah.
I know
It was pretty
people
good.
are like some people are so hit and miss with this movie coming out. Some people are saying like,
Well, it's because people are being like little bitches about
I mean,
the Scarlett
Yeah.
Johansson casting.
Yeah.
And it's like the argument against that. I'm kind of digging because somebody was like, basically the major is supposed to be like
she can be whoever she wants to fucking
ambiguous
be.
as
Yeah,
far as
yeah,
like
yeah.
race. Like nobody like it wasn't really defined after the
Yeah.
ending of the first movie that
Yeah.
like what race she actually was, because she didn't really have one because she was a cyborg, and it's like
I think that's the thing. Like, she's a cyborg. She could literally be white, Hispanic, black. Like, she could be whatever she wants. Like,
yeah.
I get what people are saying.
They even say that in fucking Standalone Complex.
Like, I get where people are coming from. I get that they're like,
Yeah.
oh, like this material is Japanese. They
Hollywood's
should-
whitewashing.
Just
But that was like
Just-
Hollywood's existence, though.
yeah, and even my dad. I had a conversation with my dad like a long while ago, where he's like, Hollywood is made up of a bunch of Jewish dudes. Like, a bunch of Jewish dudes
True.
who
He's
just
pretty much not
are
wrong. Yeah.
just
all-
white
they're all
Jewish
about
dudes
making
who
money.
make money. Like,
Yeah.
what do you expect from them? So, I like I said, I get where people are coming from. I think people need to be a little more like, they need to look at the source material and be like, okay, well, like, it's never strictly stated if she's like Japanese, if she's like English.
She just has a Japanese name, and people
Yeah.
are just like,
So-
she's Japanese.
And like
Well-
even the movie, they're just calling her the Major. Like, she doesn't have a
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. Well, I know too. Netflix pretty soon is gonna have a series of Iron Fist,
Oh yeah.
yes, my boy.
and the main character Danny Rand. There was a lot of people who were kind of questioning why Iron Fist is this white guy
a
when
white
the
guy.
entire show is about martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
and
a
it
white
was just-
guy.
Yeah.
yeah,
In the
and,
comics. Yeah.
Yeah, in the comics, all throughout Iron Fist. But we've also seen where that doesn't necessarily mean everything. I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
you can look at Green Lantern, and there's like 12 billion iterations of the Green Lantern.
I
Because
mean, even
that's-
look at Ghost Rider. There's like 2 Ghost Riders.
yeah,
I mean, just
Yeah, the
tell
current
those people
one's-
it's a continuation of the Karate Kid.
Yeah.
The current one is he's Mexican.
pretty-
Like,
but
it's like
go ahead.
you
Sorry.
can't be saying that like white people can't do kung fu.
True.
Like,
Yeah. I saw Jalen
Yeah.
Smith do it. I can do it. Okay. Like, come
Yeah,
Jaden.
exactly.
Close enough.
I
Pretty
as
sure
as
they
much
actually
flack
did
as that
it.
movie
Yeah,
got,
Jalen
I
is a
actually liked
girl's
it
name, man.
mostly because Jackie Chan was in it,
Jackie Chan's the boss.
and
Yeah.
he was like a way better teacher than
Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi, or at
Yeah,
least I
come
thought
on.
so.
I never
Yeah,
watched.
let's not
I've never watched any of the Karate Kid movies. Not any of the old ones. Not the new ones. So I'm just
They're
gonna.
classics, man.
I've seen the first one of the originals, but I wasn't like, this is a fantastic movie. I was
Yeah.
like, it's all right.
You know.
I've
Okay.
heard that the other sequels are like the Back to the Future sequels or
Yeah,
something.
just trash.
Now
It's just
going
like you don't
back.
need it.
Going back to Godzilla here, because I wanted to touch on this, is so this year, or last year I guess technically, Shin Godzilla was released, which I believe was called Godzilla Resurgence in Japan, and when it was brought over to North America, they like relabeled it. So whatever, Shin just means new, so it's like new Godzilla, whatever.
All new, all different
Hideaki Anno, the
Godzilla.
guy who created Evangelion, directed this, and Joe and I had the opportunity to go and see it at one of the theaters nearby. So, going into it, I love the 2014 Godzilla. I realize how much of a flawed film that is. Its pacing is like not very good. I don't really care about the main character, but Godzilla's in it, and the CGI looks sweet. So you know what? I will give it a thumbs up and a pass. So coming into this, I was like, all they have to do is show Godzilla for more than 8 minutes, and it's a better film already. So
There you go.
and within the first like 12 minutes, Godzilla had been seen for more than 8 minutes. So like sure, they had like a lower CGI budget. I think they had the guy who worked on the Attack on Titan films, like the
Oh.
live action ones.
Oh.
He worked on the CGI for this film, and when Godzilla first like shows up, like full in the flesh, it's like baby Godzilla. He looks like a tadpole, and he has like gills, and he's waddling around. He only has 2 feet. He has no arms.
Fucking good.
It's like if you look up Shin Godzilla first form, you will be
Dude, it's literally
you will be
Spore.
impressed. Yeah, it's gross looking.
Holy shit.
He has a big dick.
And like as the film goes on and Godzilla like adapts to being like a land-based creature now, like it becomes upright, it grows arms, and then it turns into like the Shin Godzilla that was like advertised. And I think the thing that film did way better than the 2014 Godzilla is it made Godzilla scary. Because 2014 Godzilla, it wasn't really like, oh, Godzilla's going to go destroy the fucking city or whatever. It was him fighting another monster, which I'm not a huge like Godzilla like fan. I've never like really gotten into it. So, but from my knowledge, I know Godzilla goes and destroys stuff, and then like people have to stop him, which was like different from the North American one. But they went back to roots with Shin Godzilla. and Godzilla was like terrifying. Like, he goes into the middle of Tokyo and just like erupts, just lasers and lava and napalm, and like B-52 stealth bombers come in and try and hit him, and it just nope, nothing, just shoots him with his back lasers, and like destroys the entirety of the center of Tokyo. And I feel like Joe's in the chat, he can attest to me with this, that is the like single greatest like 10 minutes of Godzilla we've ever seen, because it's just
You
so
mean better than the one where he fucking flies vertically across the screen?
I mean, it's hard to top that. It really is.
I mean, sure.
Nothing really tops the classic Godzilla films. Let's be real.
And Baby Godzilla, but I digress. I really think if anybody likes giant monsters, you don't even have to like Godzilla necessarily. I 100% suggest going to like trying to find either like a stream or like pre-ordering the Blu-ray, whatever. Like, go and watch Shin Godzilla. It is a really, really well-paced film. It is rife of Anno. Like, just it feels like an Evangelion movie with Godzilla. But it is a fantastic film, and I gave it a 10 out of 10, which like I don't usually do for movies. I don't usually like watch movies, so
I will also say that movie has a fantastic soundtrack.
oh my god, the score for that film.
It's actually one of the better soundtracks I've heard in a long time from a movie, and I'm fairly well versed in movie soundtracks, so I pay a lot of attention to those, and it's honestly impressive. There's some very good dark sort of choir like
it's like ambient, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that make you feel like you're in a 17th century church, and and all hell is breaking loose.
Yeah, the composer for the film.
Fantastic.
The composer for the film is Shiro Sagasu, who does the Eva movies. He does Eva. He did all of the Eva soundtrack. And like there is straight up Eva like songs in that film. Like there's a variant of one song like 5 times that is straight up from the show. But yeah, no, that film is a good movie, and if you're like a movie buff who likes to watch like monster movies, it is a good film. It's like subbed, but I mean, whatever. Read subtitles. I don't give a shit. Grow up. Learn to read.
Hey, I need subtitles to watch anything, so this is what happens when you're hard of hearing at 21.
Dude, I feel you there.
The tough life.
Yeah.
And that's what we get for using earbuds and headphones like every day for like 21 years. So
I mean,
wow.
Anyway,
that might be part of the reason. It's hard to say.
Let's move along here and start touching on some subjects that we have planned today.
I'm aware that you wanted to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Am I right?
Now we can wait on that for a minute. I know you wanted to talk about John Wick. So
I did. Okay,
we can stick to movies for a bit here.
Yeah, this will be pretty short. As I have not seen the new John Wick that's coming out, the sequel, John Wick 2.
The John Wickening.
Not followed by The Wickening or Electric Boogaloo, much to my disappointment.
Damn, dude.
But if you guys know anything about action movies, you may have heard of the original John Wick with Keanu Reeves. Well, just recently they released, I think just as of 2 days ago, I think it was
like a day or two ago,
the release date. It was Keanu Reeves' John Wick 2 with Lawrence Fishburne in it too, so you got a little bit of a Matrix.
Lawrence Fishburne's in it?
Lawrence Fishburne's in it, yeah. Dude. He plays like the big supporting actor.
Is this the first time he's back with him since the Matrix?
I think it's his first movie.
Yeah,
it
says right here, marks the first collaboration between Reeves and Fishburne since the original Matrix trilogy. Damn.
And
dude,
I saw an interview the other day with Lawrence Fishburne talking about, sort of working with Keanu Reeves again for the first time since The Matrix, and he's very excited. He was incredibly excited to work with Keanu Reeves again, especially in another action movie that's sort of similar in cinematography as The Matrix in terms of the action sequences.
I haven't seen the first film, but I plan on it.
If you guys haven't seen the first John Wick, I've seen it, and I can personally recommend it if you're a big fan of gunfights and action movies. It's kind of gory, but not overly so. Just a little blood here and there.
Yeah.
but it's quite a good action movie, and I'm very excited. I'm probably going to go see the second one this weekend. So if any of you have followed me on Twitter or want to follow me on Twitter, you can bet I'll be posting about it at some point this weekend if I get to go see it.
Yeah, this movie's stacked, dude. They've got Keanu Reeves, you got Lawrence Fishburne, you got my boy John Leguizamo from the hit films Ice Age, and some of you might know him as Luigi Mario from the live-action Mario film.
Boy, Luigi.
Oh boy.
Ian McShane is in this, and Lawrence Fishburne. Common for some reason is in this. I think he's a rapper, right? Yeah, Common.
Yes, Common's a rapper. I think in the movie he plays an assassin. A little bit of plot. John Wick is a former assassin, and sort of gets thrown back into it as per the first movie. So we'll see how the plot for the second movie goes, but I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Huh. Interesting. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh, show on TV. It's called The Chew. It's like a cooking show. You got like a bunch of random people. Mario Batali is on it. Whatever.
I love that show.
Keanu Reeves was on the other day, and he was cooking with Mario Batali.
He was cooking. I was like, is he a judge?
Yeah, he was a judge. It was in promotion of John Wick 2, and he was saying like him and Lawrence Fishburne like formed this brotherly bond when they filmed the Matrix trilogy. So he was saying he's like really excited to get back and be back with Lawrence Fishburne in a film because he hasn't been since like
he's back.
Yeah, John Wick is back is the logo or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's sort of the tagline for the movie for this time.
There's also a tagline in the first one.
It was something like that.
It's just the
It's
film's
sort of,
motto, I guess.
he's just trying to live his life, and things just aren't going his way.
Yeah.
So he's got to take matters into his own hands. It's pretty straightforward.
I haven't even seen that. I feel like I'm obligated to see that movie
Yeah, I
now.
feel like I need to give it
I
give
can
it a go.
recommend it to all of you. So
Yeah, that's the other thing. I've heard
really
too
good.
many good things about it to the point where I feel like I'm obligated.
What's his face from Game of Thrones? The dude who plays Theon's in the first one.
he plays a Russian mafia
Oh,
member.
nice. A British guy playing a Russian. Nothing new there. Cool. Well, John Wick 2 in theaters now. Go and see it. So, the couple topics we have tonight that I really do want to touch on because I find with the Nintendo Switch coming in next 3 weeks, I believe it's 3 weeks on Friday.
Yeah.
The Switch will be released March 3rd, in case anybody's interested in knowing. Have fun trying to get a pre-order, I guess. Good luck.
I'm trying to get a pre-order, nerds.
So, with it coming out, there's a lot of talk, especially like the past week or two, about it, the Wii U, and the Wii.
It's gonna be better than both.
I mean, that is a
saying it
bold
right.
statement to take right
I'm
now.
saying it right now.
So just to like give some people some background. The Wii came out in 2006, 2005.
I think it was
It was
2006.
somewhere around there.
The Wii came out November 2006 in Japan or in North America. It came out later in Japan. It was released first in North America.
That's super.
They were
rare.
like,
That's,
we've
like,
already
backwards.
got enough to keep us like moving. Let's give these fat Americans a reason to get off.
They're coordinating with Sony to like
Yeah.
get Japan's prices up or something.
Now
But
the thing with the Wii is when it was released, like it was sold out just like everywhere. I know
Yeah.
from my experience, I was 6. I would have been grade 6. I would have been like 10 or 11, or 11 going on 12, I think. And
I was in high school.
it was so hard to try and find one. You'd go to like Costco and they'd be like, oh, we have one, and then like you'd get there and they wouldn't. You'd like go to like we have grocery stores here called literally called Superstore. Like that's the name of the fucking place.
Superstore and pizza, man.
And the Superstore would like they had like an electronics section, and like you'd have to be lucky if you like could find one there. Same with like Walmarts and Best Buys and the such. So much so that like it would take months for people to like get their hands on them. From my experience, like I had to wait 6 months. I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning, and go to a superstore for 6 in the morning when they open to hope to get in line to get one. So the Wii was yeah, I think it's Nintendo's best-selling console is what it's like labeled as.
So far,
correct. It sold something like 4 million units within its first year, or 2 million units within its first year, something.
it was something nutty.
It's like most of that comes from like the fact that it was just so revolutionary for its time.
Exactly, yeah.
Because like the only thing that was like it around at the time was like the PlayStation 2's iToy, and that was like nowhere near on
Its
the
codename
level.
for its E3 launch was the Revolution.
Yeah, I remember that. I was reading like a Nintendo Power or something, and it was like the Nintendo Revolution.
It was Iwata like holding one up, like yeah.
And I remember very specifically the Nintendo Power I was reading was like, it has like Metroid and it has Zelda, like all the original games they're on it. You can just they're
It's gonna
there.
have Metroid and Zelda.
And I was like,
It's
okay,
like-
sweet, I'm in.
But
Yeah,
Nintendo does
sold.
this thing every time where they never manage to have the supply for their demand.
See, I think
As far as like consoles or just
As far as their consoles, like the sheer like number of consoles that they ship.
See,
Oh,
I think
yeah, yeah.
I think of this time around, which I will get to in a minute, is that the Switch, like, I know people are saying like, oh, we can't get one. Like, of course you can't get one. Like, are you stupid? So
You
like I'll get
stupid or
to that in a minute. So the Wii itself, best selling console by Nintendo. It sold the most like sold video game of all time is Wii Sports, solely because it shipped with the fucking Wii U or the Wii.
Yeah.
Don't fact check that. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm gonna say it is though.
Probably.
Don't quote me.
Sure, that's right. I
Um,
ended up buying a second copy of that game because it got scratched.
so like,
played it too much.
oh,
It was so.
whoever's
that game was
following,
great.
thanks
Yeah,
for
the
the
game was
follow.
good.
Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the show. Hunker down. We're just getting started. So the Wii, like, it's
Riley brings up a good point that it revolutionized party games.
oh, most definitely,
Basically.
most definitely.
Because you went from just like jamming buttons on a controller to like getting up and moving around. With
Yeah,
people
you were
in your living
being
room.
active for the first time while playing like a video game.
As much flack as a lot of people give the Wii, for being like really gimmicky, like even if it was gimmicky, it was like a good gimmick.
It was,
for-
yeah, no, I'll agree,
for the time.
definitely. First game I ever bought for the Wii was Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2.
Oh my
It was
god.
on that.
Yeah,
Holy
it was
shit.
it was a
Thank
Wii
God.
it was a Wii launch title because it was a PS2 game.
Shit,
so.
was it?
Holy fuck.
Yes, sir. So like, Wii comes out, revolutionizes gaming, like as we know it, and you can definitely see that from the PS3 and the Xbox 360, both trying to get into like the motion.
That's one thing that I
controls.
felt like.
And then everybody
was
realized
really,
it was garbage.
It was really weird to me that they were trying to do that because it was like, all right, you've got a consumer base that's basically saying, yeah, we like the Wii, but it's super gimmicky, and then Sony and Microsoft are like, gimmicky sounds like
Yeah.
money to me.
Yeah.
It's
And, like,
kinda
what
when they come out with like
The
the Kinect was really shitty.
Connect the
Like,
Move, the PlayStation
Yeah,
Move.
it was-
Connect.
It was
the
it was
Connect
it was
did not.
it was like as close to 1-to-1 as they could get it as far as like straight up motion controls, but like they were pretty they were like really buggy from what I remember.
I mean,
like on launch.
the Move is arguably like the worst motion control, like
Yeah.
just out there.
That was the
It
little
was the PlayStation. It
Oh,
had
with
like
the little
it had
balls
like the
on it.
golf balls on the dildos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say
you
the
can play
thing
Heavy
about
Rain with
the,
that.
Was that?
I will say the one thing about the Kinect that was good was that they understood pretty much very shortly after they introduced it that it was something that they were going to strictly use for like family games and like children.
like with the
Yeah.
Kinect, yeah.
Yeah, with the Kinect, as opposed to like trying to incorporate it into like every game that they made.
Yeah,
Now they did
that's
do
true.
that for some games.
Yeah, they did it for
Like
Mass Effect.
Like Mass Effect 3, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Mass Effect 3, but they did a pretty good job, keeping it pretty limited to, um,
Action games.
yeah, keeping it pretty limited to like child and like family games.
Yeah.
Like I know there was a game that came out called like Connectimals or something like that. And it was
Yeah.
basically
Oh,
Nintendo.
God,
It was
yeah.
like
That's it.
Nintendogs with like zoo animals for the Xbox.
Holy shit.
I mean,
Um,
if you look at like when they first announced the Kinect, I think it was when they first announced it. It was that E3 where that lady was like showcasing the game, where she was like talking to a kid on the screen, and she's like, "Oh, hello, it's Jason here," and she's like, "Jason, please get me a football," and like Jason turns around and like picks up a football or something.
Oh, I remember
you
that
know
tech
what I'm
demo.
talking
That
about,
was
yeah,
so
yeah.
creepy.
Yeah, it was terrifying, is what it was.
It was so scary. Holy
But
fuck.
then nothing came of that. Like they're like, this is what you can do with the Kinect, and then they gave us Star Wars dancing. So like,
well,
Oh yes.
that's the nature of E3 too. It's like here's what could be,
yeah,
and
exactly,
very rarely
exactly,
ever is.
Yeah.
That's just like
So-
the fucking the PS4 conference from like a million years ago where they had 4 guys on stage not knowing what to do with their hands.
They're like, hey guys, we're here for Sony, and oh god, they have the gun against our heads, right guys? They're just gonna say whatever they. We're here to promote Sony and PS4. Like, they didn't like. They looked like they were being held at gunpoint to like tell them what they wanted. So, but yeah, like motion controls is such a strange thing to me still. Like, so few games got it right. Even looking back at the Wii, so few games got it right.
I mean, it's like, if you even look at like
did a good job.
the way that the
Yeah,
actual like motion controls were made, like a lot of the times it was really bad. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if you guys ever played the game Sonic and the Secret Rings on the Wii, but that game does not control well at all.
So hard.
It was so
Like,
bad. Like,
yeah.
it's the kind of bad that's like you will lose levels just because you will move your controller like this and
Yeah.
it will just not do anything.
I played like there are some games that had good controls. Like Tyler said, Skyward Sword I think is the pinnacle of like good motion controls on the Wii.
The reason being is because like they
had the Motion Plus, like it was the
it was
first
the-
like real game. That,
the like main problem with motion controls as a whole was that they weren't really 1-to-1, and then like when it was getting popularized, people were like, "Oh, sweet motion controls," and they're like subconsciously expecting it to be 1-to-1,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Whoa, the sword is swinging," and their sword's just like, huh,
yeah.
eh.
And I think that's like they wanted to do that with Twilight Princess, because if people don't know, when Twilight Princess was released, it was initially going to be just like a GameCube game, but then like they announced the Wii
They're
like
"It's
earlier
a
that year,
console."
so they pushed it back. Twilight Princess is one of
I
the
was
most
so upset about
delayed
that.
games like
I was
I
so
know
upset about that.
of. But like you look at that and they delay it, and then they're like, oh, we have the Wii, so we're gonna delay it some more so that we can get it on the Wii. And then they mirrored everything because most people in the world are right-handed, so they had to mirror the game so that like right-handed people didn't feel weird because Link is left-handed. I don't think that really would have made much of a difference, to be completely
It's
honest.
like Link holds his shield in his
Yeah.
right hand.
But like you could see they were trying to do that with Skyward Sword. Like you'd slash one way and like Link would slash or whatever. It wasn't the same.
He would also like if you
Yeah,
like twisted
you
your
twist
wrist,
it,
he would
yeah.
actually turn his sword,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty cool.
And like Austin in our chat, he brings up a good point. Like VR, we're back to square one again. Like VR has been through so much stuff that it's just like it's constantly going somewhere, and then we're back to like where we started with it. So I feel like that was motion controls for most of its life cycle. Like, oh, we're good, and then like Sony and Microsoft, and then we're back to square one, and then like Kinect releases some good games, and then we're back to square one because most of them are shitty. So like, it's so weird. Like the Wii had such a large catalog of really good games, but I can't tell you how many of them actually use motion control. Like
Legit motion control.
I mean, because that's part of the problem. You can't just put motion controls in every game. Like, it's going to be to the point where some games are just
Yeah.
going to be bad if you just try to A, force it, and B, like, it's just going to be games that are just going to be more fun with, like, a controller or, like, a keyboard or a
definitely.
mouse.
And I think that was one of my, like I said, I think Skyward Sword is the pinnacle of motion controls on the Wii. I would still have rather played that game on a controller, just because it's a Zelda game. I don't want to be, like, doing this while playing Zelda. I want to sit down and, like, control the game.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for companies too, especially motion control, VR, everything like that, is finding the balance between making a good game with those controls
Definitely,
and making games with those controls. Yeah, as Gordon just pointed out, not every game is going to be perfect with motion controls. However, you don't want to only have 2 or 3 games on a system with motion controls when you're trying to sell that system.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it's as a whole, it was kind of hard for developers to be like, how do we implement this into our games? Like I feel like that really stymied.
Definitely.
That's
why
the Wii
so,
from getting a lot of like third.
That's why there's so few third-party games on the Wii.
Because developers were like, we have to put this in.
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, Sonic and the Secret Rings again is a perfect example of that, because the game was supposed to be like the sequel to, I believe it was the sequel to Sonic Heroes or something.
Sonic Heroes. Wow.
But Black Knight actually came after, what's it called? Secret Rings, but Black Knight was supposed to come first. I don't know. The developer cycle made no sense, but because it came, like, Secret Rings, I think, was either a launch title with the Wii or it came out like a couple weeks after. But the reason why it's so bad is because Sega didn't have like the time to be able to implement in the controls very well. That, along with just putting in all of these other things like that, the Mario Party ripoff that they have in that game with all the, like, those, from what I remember, those actually work pretty well, but like the main game does not work like whatsoever.
Yeah, Sonic and the Secret Rings came out in 2007. March or February 20th, 2007. So
yeah, so it was like 5 months later.
4 or 5 months later, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see, like, it was pretty rushed, because I mean, it's hard to take something, especially when you're developing it originally for like no, it was a port of 06. That was what it was.
I think some games.
Oh god.
I think some games that were ported to the Wii from like the PS2 or like other consoles, did it just right. I think the Wii version of Resident Evil 4 is like the best version of that game, hands down, because they got the motion control right. You felt like you were aiming, like its controls were really good.
To piggyback off of your point. A bit, Groden. Like a counter example is Sonic Colors had like no motion controls on the Wii. It was actually a pretty good game.
See, I've never played it. Could you plug in your GameCube controller for that, or was it literally just like the side?
I think it was just you had to have the nunchuck. Actually, you didn't have to have the nunchuck, but like it was like with a lot of games that played without motion controls, like it was better to have it just because
I played a
Didn't you have to use the motion controls for the wisps?
I think you did.
You might have, but like outside of that it was just regular controller.
I played a majority of the games that you had to use, like if you had the option between turning your Wii remote sideways or using the nunchuck, I would have just turned the Wii remote sideways like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Smash Bros, I turned it sideways if I wasn't using a GameCube controller. Like,
dude, that was
from my experience, the nunchuck was not terribly intuitive.
Oh god.
It worked on some games, but again, it wasn't like
it
wasn't something that you wanted to use for every time you used a Wiimote.
It's the middle dong of the N64 controller. So like,
it was. I feel like it was basically just Nintendo's way of appeasing people that were like, yeah, the GameCube controller was like your best controller ever. Why are we stuck with just a little?
Some people would argue that it is like the worst controller ever, but
see, those
people are wrong.
I'm in the boat where I would rather use the controller every single time.
Yeah.
Like, that was the main frustration that I had with that entire console, was because it felt like we were having to have this control scheme forced onto us, and it's like at that point I was just like, okay, heck with this, I'll just go check out Sony's new console.
And there were so many games where it was like, you're switching between so many different controllers while playing the Wii. like some games you can use your GameCube controller. Some games you can only use the classic controller. Like Monster Hunter 3, you could only use the classic controller.
And then like buying that alone is another $60.
Exactly. Yeah, it's another $60 that you have to pour into another console. So like,
you have to do that with the Switch too. You have to buy another classic controller, and I've heard that that's even more expensive.
Yeah, or you could buy another set of Joy-Cons, which I think is around the same price. So I mean,
it's like $110 from what I've heard.
Joy-Cons $110. I haven't heard that. I heard the.
I think that's Canadian though. I don't know.
Oh, probably. Jesus fuck.
I heard it on Super Best Friends. So.
But moving along here, with such a massive success that the Wii was, and you can totally attribute that to all like the family games, the Mario parties, the Mario Karts, whatnot. Like, it was a family console, like first and foremost. That is what it was published as. That is what they sold for, and that's what a lot of people got it for. 2012, I think it was. That E3 they announced the Wii U. I will fact check that in a moment, just to make sure that's the right date. But like upon them like announcing the Wii U, they didn't have any
any launch games.
They had no launch games, and they basically had no marketing for it at all.
Yeah.
I know people who thought it was an extension to the Wii for like 4 years before they released like Smash Bros. And they're like, wait a second, like this is a console, like. I think
the whole separate console. It was their attempt to like catch up to the current generation of consoles as far as like graphical output, because it was
PS3,
it was the first Nintendo console to like output in HD, like and the 360 and the PS3 had been doing that since launch.
And I think the biggest issue, like not just the marketing, is the actual naming of the console. Like I can see what they were going for. Like I know what they were trying to do. Like they were trying to do like the whole like PS3. Like this is now the Wii U. But like, when has Nintendo really done that? I guess you can count the Super Nintendo as like because it's the Super Nintendo Entertainment Console, or system rather. Which is an upgrade from the Nintendo Entertainment System, but like
fun fact that I learned, the N64 was originally going to be the Ultra Famicom, so it would have been like.
If you guys want to watch an interesting video of the N64, go to Digino Gaming. They just uploaded a video. I was about to touch on that. Like at the very end of the video, they mention one of the designers of it, who came up with the name, the Nintendo 64. Basically wanted to make a catch-all name that like couldn't fail. Like it's just bam, Nintendo 64, because he's just like, so many people use Nintendo as like a name for just consoles. He's like, why don't we just like name it the Nintendo 64? Like people will know what it is because it's Nintendo's in the name. And
exactly.
Like,
little did they know that name would be used for every single console by mothers across America.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you look at Nintendo. You go from the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, to the Super NES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And sure, like, that's kind of like the Wii U, but not really. And then you have, like, a completely different title. You got the Nintendo 64. And then they go to the Nintendo GameCube. And, like, I was trying to explain this to one of my buddies at school. Like, there's no, like, pattern within these names. It's just 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. It's not like they're sharing names. It's not like it's the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. They're not like they're not moving a number and then like sharing along. And I think that's where the Wii U like failed. It's not a number. It's not anything. It's just Wii U, and it sounds like an extension of the Wii. It doesn't sound like a new console. It just sounds like something for the Wii. And I think that's the biggest problem they had with that console. And you look at the Switch now, like, it's completely different. They've gone back to their naming convention of just putting something on it and then going with it. And it's catchy, it's quick to say. They've got the snap, the switch. I'm in it.
The Kree.
Yeah. The Kira Yoshikage click, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, the reason I think it's gonna be like, it's actually gonna sell better than both is Legend of Zelda launch title, like exclusive for the console. It's not like it's not.
Well,
a split,
technically it's technically is because it's on the Wii U.
And that game is so
oh yeah,
different.
that's right. That's right.
Technically,
But still, like it's got a Zelda launch title that has been like demoed to death, like to the point where people are like,
God.
"All right, this game is gonna be fucking fantastic." I've seen like so many stories, or so many articles about, like one I saw was like this guy's like on his deathbed and the Zelda launch title is giving him hope, like to keep living. Like he's gonna live long enough to play the game, and he's gonna shit the bed or something. Like,
I mean, like that game is so interesting. It takes so many different risks that you haven't seen from like
yeah,
anything that Nintendo's done before.
like like as far as I know, they haven't really released a quote unquote open world game since like the original Legend of Zelda that has been good at all.
And like,
At least under their own IP.
yeah,
Like,
and like, like you look at the Switch, right? I zoned out, so I'm just I'm gonna be honest. I zoned out for a
Fuck you,
second.
man.
Something with Zelda, I'm in it, like Zelda.
Yeah.
I
liked it.
like it. With the Wii U, it just got like discontinued like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like they're not like manufacturing it anymore.
Glad I got mine.
I mean, I could give or take it. You can get refurbished ones off of the Nintendo website for $200. That come with Nintendo Land, I think. And like it had. I struggled to find games that came out like within the first 2 or 3 years that were like really interesting.
Because they don't exist.
Like it came out with Zombie U. Like sure, I guess.
Oh god, that was a game. Holy shit!
But
they
like,
demoed that at E3. Remember?
I remember that.
But, like,
I remember the day that came out. People were uploading LPs of that shit.
But like you've got like 3 years into its life cycle, like close to 3 years into its life.
The console's almost dead.
The console's almost dead. Now they're coming out with like Pikmin 3. They're coming out with Smash Bros. They're coming out with Zelda remasters, like Splatoon, exactly. Like now, 3 years into a dead console's life cycle, they're making games for it. I don't know if it had to do with the hardware. I don't know if it had to do like I didn't work on it, so I don't have that information. This is all purely speculation.
I honestly think like it was just like almost 100% their attempt to catch up to the rest of the market as far as like hardware strength.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
And like,
why do it, Nintendo?
And then like, sure, you get like into the end of their life cycle. Now they're getting like pretty good games. They're getting Bayonetta 2. They're getting Smash Bros. They're getting like Mario Kart. You get some Mario parties. Like, it's too late though. It's too late to like make an impact because people who would have bought it have already bought it.
The online though, like, actually got better.
Well, yeah, probably.
From console to console. Yeah. Like, cause the Wii.
Oh god, the 27.5 digit code you needed to input like to go play Mario Kart with a Korean kid. Yeah, like come on.
to play fucking Animal Crossing with friends. Remember when we tried to do that with what was it?
It was something.
City Folk. Or
oh yeah, no, it was Smash Bros. I think we were trying to play Smash Bros. Or something, but like
no. We played. We all played Smash 4.
I don't have Animal Crossing. Oh, okay, on a 3DS.
Yeah. I you didn't play it, but I know Riley and like a few other people had City Folk, and we were all trying to play.
And then like you've got this like ass backwards way of like trying to set up the internet on the Wii, where you had to go into the settings, you had to find the MAC address, you had to go into your router, you had to like apply the MAC address and make sure that your console was actually working. So like, I mean, Jesus Christ, Nintendo, what were you doing?
The focus wasn't really on online.
No,
gaming.
Definitely not. No, that's the whole thing.
Nintendo's
it was the family. It was the like living room console that you play with your kids. You play with
basically. It was like, all right, Nintendo realized, all right, online gaming is a lot bigger than we thought it was, and it would probably be to our benefit to start A, making games for it, and B, having the hardware to actually implement online gaming for our consoles.
Yeah.
And by the time that they came out with it, everybody was like, why buy a Nintendo console that does what these other two consoles do,
Yeah.
but worse?
Yeah. And then like,
Right.
and like, you make a good point with like as consoles go on, the online got better. With the Wii U, they phased out the friend code. Thank you,
Thank
Nintendo.
God.
Thank you, Nintendo. Thank you,
God.
Miyamoto. And they created the Nintendo ID. And then they created the Miiverse. And they made it like hands down easier to like. It became almost like an Xbox Live for like the Wii U essentially, where you had like your hub, and you had your code that you just give to your friends. You just match with your friends. You're good to go. From what I know, I think the connectivity was still an issue, and that's been an
Like a
issue.
little bit.
I think that's
Well,
been
I
an
mean,
issue with
it's
Nintendo like
still-
online for a while.
It depends
so-
on what you're playing. And Nintendo has these weird things where like some certain ports need to be unlocked on your router in order to get anything to work.
Yeah.
Like if you've ever tried to use like a 3DS or like a Wii U anywhere
Yeah.
on like a college campus, it's literally
It's-
impossible.
It requires
You
yeah.
cannot
You
do
need
it.
a certain type of internet code. It's like I don't know, dude. It's fucked up.
It's like it's really
Yeah.
frustrating.
So go ahead. You were gonna say something.
No, it's like Nintendo as a company kind of seems to always be like a year behind everybody else when it comes to this, especially more on the online.
It's really weird, and I don't know like who's in charge of that and who's like, you know what? Let's just pretend we're a year back. Let's pretend we're in 2016 still, guys. Let's
That
That's what I-
said,
that's
they may be a year back on things like online compatibility and online gaming, but they always seem to be ahead of the curve in creating really fun, unique, entertaining
God,
games.
Yes. Oh god.
Like
yes.
for the
definitely.
That's-
Nintendo
that's-
Switch ARMS that's coming out,
oh god.
I can't possibly think of a game that I've ever seen that's like that.
Yeah.
That game just looks genuinely fun.
And
Yeah,
like,
it may burn out in 3 months of playing it, depending on the online play. But it's a game that only Nintendo would have a game like that.
And
Like
I
only a
think-
Nintendo console.
I think that's a good point to make because a lot of people thought Pokken Tournament, the Tekken Pokemon game,
that game is
That game is
actually
cool.
people thought
so fucking
people
fun.
thought like, oh, it's gonna be gimmicky, like you're gonna play your Tekken
Hell
Pokemon,
no, dude.
and it's gonna die
Yeah,
out.
that
of
game
it.
is great.
I have a feeling ARMS is gonna be the same way. I think people are gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be really gimmicky because you can sit down and play with a controller. Like you don't need to play it with the Joy Cons. They've already said you can play with a controller.
To your point, Ethan, I feel like Nintendo kind of pioneered like console exclusives
Yeah.
as far as like being company specific IPs. I mean, they basically invented it with Mario and Zelda, but like they kind of drove it home after they released like 18,000 games for those two, and then
Yeah.
like their other like staples of their franchise staples, and with I feel like with the Switch they're kind of like getting back to that, where with the last two iterations of their consoles they've been like, all right, let's kind of bring in third party games and maybe like do like a trial run of
Yeah.
like how this is going to go for our consoles, and now they're just like, all right, we've got these workhorses that we have been like
We've got
riding.
the whips, we got the cat of nine tails, and we're just whacking them with it.
We've got these staples that we know people will buy because they know that we know how to
Yeah.
push good content forward with those staples. Let's bring in third-party developers to do other stuff and make sure that it's good, make sure our hardware works. And I feel like they finally like figured out their Nintendo formula
Yeah.
for how shit's gonna go, and the Switch is gonna like actually be a decent console.
Now, Ethan, I have a question. So, what consoles did you grow up on? What like line of consoles did you grow up on? Did you grow up on
All right,
Sony? Did you grow up on Microsoft?
I definitely grew up on Microsoft. I had 2 of the original Xboxes. I had 2 Xbox 360s, and I am now an owner of an Xbox One.
Okay.
That said, my very first console was a Sega Dreamcast.
Okay.
So,
So this is where I wanna pose this question to all of you here, just because like I think it's a valuable thing to bring up is where are the creative leads for the big name titles for like the Sony games and the Microsoft games? Where's the creative leads for like Crash Bandicoot? Gone, right? Like gone.
Fucking
Where's
gone.
where's the creative leads of like the good Halo games? Like 343 is
working
gone.
on other
Like,
projects.
yeah,
Destiny.
they're doing other things. They're doing Destiny. Where's the creative leads of Metal Gear Solid? Kojima's off on his island now.
He's doing whatever the
he
fuck
can
he's
do
doing
what
with
he
that guy
wants,
from
man.
The
With
Walking
Death
Dead.
Stranding.
He's
We
freed-
all saw that E3 trailer. Like something either amazing or terrible is going to come
He's
out of that.
free
There's
from-
no in between with that.
He's freed
But I have
from
enough
the
trust in
shackles of
Kojima.
oppression. He's freed from the shackles of oppression that is Konami. So this is what I want to bring in. All the creative leads from Nintendo still work
Are
for
still
Nintendo.
there.
You don't have your Cliff Bleszinski's working on Gears of War anymore. You have him working on some free-to-play game that looks like shit. You don't have your 343s working on the Halo games anymore. They're off doing Destiny, which they're progressively making better with every patch. You don't have your Crash Bandicoot anymore because literally they're off killing themselves, I think. I don't know where they are. They're off on an island laughing it up with all their money. You still have Miyamoto. You still have Iwata. You don't have Iwata anymore, but
You have the base god Eiji Aonuma
yeah, you have
working on
Aonuma.
Zelda.
Like, you still have all of these guys who grew up working at Nintendo, actually making the consoles themselves. Like, Iwata worked on the original Game Boy. He's the sole reason they fit 2 whole regions into Pokemon like Silver through Crystal, because he came in and he figured out the compression of the Game Boy things, and he's like, yo, you guys have a lot of like usable space here that you're not using, so let's compress all this down, and bam, here, have a whole new region because I'm Iwata and I can do that.
I will say, I think the counterpoint to that is, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
And the prime example I can think of this is Lionhead Studios, the studios that created Fable for the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That studio doesn't exist anymore. They went
Exactly.
bankrupt.
Yeah. You've
And
got
it
so
just
many of
got
these
to a point
places.
where, unlike with Nintendo and, like Mario, always going to be profitable, Sonic, almost always going to be profitable, even though that's Sega, not Nintendo.
I mean, they're pretty much partnered with Nintendo at this point, though.
Right. Legend of Zelda, always pretty much going to be profitable.
Always pretty
Because I'm
Even-
always gonna be buying games.
Because of people like Tyler, exactly.
Yeah, and me too. Yeah.
Now,
Jesus.
those are games that, and franchises that are almost always going to be profitable, but Halo player base is down, right? And you could say, yeah, it's because of the lead developers, they're leaving, so on and so forth. Lionhead Studios, people were calling for a 4th Fable game. They wanted it, like, really badly after Fable 3,
You should keep them
and
all,
Lionhead
yeah.
Studios just tanked.
Yeah.
It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. And I think that's one of the reasons why is sort of, I guess, a loyalty, consumer loyalty's not quite there with Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's there, but not
Well,
for
with,
individual developers. It's there for the console itself.
Yeah.
With Sony and Microsoft, like all of their console exclusives are through third-party developers. With console exclusives for Nintendo consoles, it's all in-house because
Yeah.
they own all of the IPs. I mean, they
They do own all.
they are the publisher of both the console and
They're publisher
games that
and
are-
developer. So
yeah.
as opposed to like having the difference between that would be like, for example, like you look at Konami and you look at Kojima Productions back when it was like Kojima Productions. Like he was like, you could pretty much consider Kojima Productions as part of Konami because they were owned by Konami.
Yeah.
So the development and publishing through Konami and Kojima Productions was more or less one and the same. But then you look at like Metal Gear Rising, where Kojima actually like outsources, where the developers are now Platinum Games and the publishers are now Konami, as opposed to it being a mostly in-house project. And I think that's like, I think third parties are a really good thing. I really do. I think it's necessary. It needs to happen. It's just a matter of where all these leads go. Like your friend in the chat saying, like, Peter Molyneux came to Lionhead Game, ran it into the ground, and left. Like,
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
though, what keeps stuff like Mario and Zelda in line though is that since the publisher and the developer is one and the same, the company can oversee the development process and be like, all right, is this product good enough to put out on our console?
yeah.
Yes, it is. Ship it. Good. We're good to go.
Yeah.
With other, I
I mean, there's still some level of that with the other two companies, but like, not to the extent that Nintendo can provide for itself, because they're like, all right, we're gonna give Rockstar a shitload of money to make Uncharted 5 because we know that it's a really well-selling franchise.
Yeah.
It's a console exclusive. We know that, or not Rockstar, Naughty Dog. I'm sorry. Woo!
Guitar Hero. Or, wait,
Woohoo!
you said Grand Theft Auto 5?
No, I said
Uncharted.
Uncharted 5.
Uncharted
Definitely not
5.
Rockstar. Definitely Naughty Dog.
They know that Naughty Dog has like a good track record with the development of their games, so they're like, all right, we trust you. Go make a game. We'll put it on our console. We'll make it console exclusive. Good shit. Let's go.
I mean, well, technically speaking, the IP is owned by Naughty Dog. They own the IP to the Uncharted series. So, but I get where you're coming. I get what you're saying.
Long story short, third parties are wonderful, but you also can't expect a franchise to survive as long as a Zelda or a Mario because of the fact it's third party, and
sure,
you put a lot of weight into making that game on another company other than your own.
There are so many good third-party games. You look at like Bayonetta, like that is a good series. Like Platinum Games, like almost everything they touch is good. Like almost everything. We don't talk about Scalebound because it got canceled.
We also don't talk about Korra.
I mean, that game's like average.
That
It's
game's
not bad. It's just average. But then like you still run the risk even with the first-party game. Like you look at like some of the Mario games. Like a lot of people don't like Sunshine. I'm gonna say it. Like a lot of people don't like Sunshine. A lot.
I didn't even know that was an opinion. That's like super odd.
Yeah, like a lot of people really don't like Sunshine. I think Sunshine's a pretty good game. It's for the most part like a really good game. I can understand.
There's lots of people that don't like Super Mario Galaxy either.
I've played some of Mario Galaxy 1, and I have to say it's not like my favorite. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But you even run that with Zelda. Like Ocarina of Time is such a divided game now that it's been out for so long. Like sure, it revolutionized so much, but like
compared to what they've got now, like as far as the
yeah,
development cycle, it's such shit.
a lot of people think Twilight Princess is arguably the weakest game in the series, like maybe up there with Skyward Sword, because I think I'm divided on Skyward Sword. I think it's a good game. I think its control scheme's pretty good. I think its story is phenomenal, but I think the gameplay aspects overall is like kind of
I feel like my opinion on Zelda games has become like so biased that I can't really give an input on it, because I've gotten to the point where I'm like, all right, I think the gameplay, no matter what it is, as long as it's got a Zelda title on it, it's gonna be
decent.
Okay, like okay at best. Yeah. But like what I'm looking for in a Zelda game is not like 100% what I should be looking for out of a video game. Because I'm like, all right, if the combat's okay, I can live with that as long as the story is just fantastic.
Like I like Wind Waker for different reasons than I like Ocarina of Time, and I like Majora's Mask for other reasons that I like Twilight Princess. Like no game is 100% perfect. I've never found a game that's 100% perfect. Maybe Dark Souls. Like it's up there. It is up there for me. With just perfect.
Breath of the Wild is gonna be 100% perfect.
But like that's what I'm trying to say. Like I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild for different reasons than I play Majora's Mask. I play Majora's Mask because I like the characters. I like the atmosphere. I think the entire world itself is really good. I think its dungeon design, for the most part, is like really high up there. But like its gameplay is just like copy paste of Ocarina of Time for the most part, and I think Ocarina of Time is kind of a stagnated game at this point. Like I like Majora's Mask because of like the story and the atmosphere, whereas like I like Twilight Princess for the actual like gameplay mechanics of like playing as Link and riding on the horse and like sword play and whatnot. But I think Twilight Princess's story is one of the weaker ones, so like
it kind of is. I think what it kind of lacks in story, though, it makes up with since they're talking about scores in the chat, is the score, like
in Twilight Princess.
For Twilight Princess, yes. Oh my
Twilight
God.
Princess has it's either my first or second favorite.
It's
Zelda
like my
soundtrack.
third. It's like my third favorite so far. I think Breath of the Wild is gonna be top 5, which I'm kind of surprised with myself about that since Koji Kondo isn't.
Yeah, he's not a composer. Yeah.
Which I'm like kind of iffy, but if it's anything like what they've shown so far in the trailer, I think it's gonna be alright.
See, like, I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild for the open world. I'm gonna play it because the combat looks like really, really good. And I'm gonna play it for like the atmosphere. I could give or take the story, to be honest. It looks like
gonna be awesome.
It looks like it's gonna be good, but for everything else that I've seen, I feel like I can give or take, honestly. So.
Can we talk about it for a second?
Okay,
like,
we'll
just
get
a
to
second.
it. We'll
like,
get
timeline.
to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Because we're still stuck on the Switch here.
Yeah.
The Switch is coming out in 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming on March 3rd. Like I said, if you can get a pre-order, God bless you. You're an American hero. Because God knows, it took me like 6 hours of refreshing Best Buy day of to try and get my pre-order in. So.
It's so expensive too.
In Canadian dollars, it's expensive. In American
It's like-
dollars, it's pretty
it's like
reasonable,
three-
actually.
Actually, no, there was a deal actually at our Best Buy where if you trade in a Wii U, you basically just pay $60.
Oh yeah.
For the
There's
system.
there's a
shit.
trade in.
That's really
There's
good.
a trade in offer. There's a trade in
And
offer at
since-
REB Games as well, where you can trade in like a bunch of games and get like Breath of the Wild for free, or you can trade in like
Yeah.
3 consoles and get like you can pay
But-
you can pay for your Switch essentially.
Okay,
Nintendo's
but
gonna-
Cooking Mama for the Nintendo Switch when?
Launch title,
Yeah.
clearly, obviously. Come on, guys.
Launch
It's
title,
like-
alright.
No, it's not.
The Switch is such an interesting console from Nintendo because Nintendo, in my opinion at least, because I'm the kind of person who only played Nintendo mostly for their handhelds, and it seems like, especially with the way that the 3DS has been going for the past couple of years, that it's probably their more like the bigger money maker as opposed to
Yeah.
their actual home consoles, especially in the Eastern countries. Like everybody has a 3DS,
Yeah.
from what I've heard. And the Switch is super interesting to me because they're taking kind of the two and meshing them together,
Yeah.
which has so much
Yes.
potential. Because like they're doing the party game thing, which we'd already talked about, but they're kind of bringing it more together. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
especially because it's so portable.
Yeah.
I forget how they're having like a screen on it, but is it like I don't remember how the
it's
portable
it's
thing
kind of
works.
like the
You've got like an iPad essentially that you put
it's
2
kind of like the
controllers
Wii U
on, yeah.
tablet, but it's more of a screen and the two like the 2 control stick things are on the like slide down on the sides.
Yeah.
And
If
you
anybody's
you can
interested,
take the whole thing with you.
if anybody's interested in the actual specs of the console, they're on the Nintendo website. You can find all the software and hardware. They've got multiple angles of the console, different like parts of the console. Like you got like complete 360 view of like the controllers, the actual console itself, the dock.
It's very interesting because like
Yeah.
the way that they're selling it with their like with the pro controllers and stuff now, it has so much potential
Yeah.
for me because it's almost because like before I would have been just like, oh, if I wanted to play a party game with some friends, I'd get a laptop, install Dolphin, and plug
Yeah.
4 Xbox controllers into
Yeah.
it. But this almost seems like a more portable version of it with the other controllers. So as long as the controller support is good, I think it has a lot of potential. That's where I think the Wii U failed in a lot of ways.
I've read a
that-
lot. I've read a lot of people. I frequent the Nintendo subreddit just because I'm interested in seeing what like people are thinking about it. They're pretty divided. Just a heads up if you go on there. So just word of warning. But people who've been to these events, I know we had one in Toronto like 2 weeks ago. It was closed invite, like it was invite only, but they had like a day of people coming in and trying out the Switch, and I don't know if it was that event or one similar to it, but somebody had posted on our Nintendo about like their experience with it, what they thought of it. The consensus I'm seeing is that everybody loves the Joy-Con controllers. Everyone. I haven't heard a single bad thing about like people who've used it saying like the Joy-Cons are like they feel just right. They don't feel like they're gonna break in their hands. They fit their hands. Like it feels right. The actual console itself is not the dock, which a lot of people thought it was. It's the actual screen, and it's roughly the size of the Wii U gamepad. Like screen wise, I think it's the entirety of the Wii U gamepad.
It's a very good size.
Yeah. And the Joy-Cons themselves are roughly the size of a Game Boy SP Micro, or a Game Boy Micro, whatever the hell they're called, Game Boy Advance Micro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like almost exactly the same size.
Yeah, they're roughly the same size. So, like with all of that, it's the first like. I think they were trying to do it with the Wii U, where oh, we can make it portable. You can go to the washroom, take a dump while playing Zelda. Like, you can do that. But now it's like you can leave the house and not be tethered to the TV
somewhere.
and actually play your games. So,
it's like
a lot of
with
people,
stuff like that, with like Mario Kart and stuff, it's
Yeah.
gonna be insane. Like people are gonna be.
Isn't the dock
Super.
supposed to like output in 4K?
No, the dock. If you're docked to the television, the highest you'll get is 1080p 60 FPS on some games. I know Zelda is 1080p 30 FPS docked, 720p 30 FPS undocked.
God, imagine that though. Like outputting video game files in 4K.
Yeah.
Like,
On a Wii, on like a Switch,
or like just any Nintendo console, or like any console. Really.
I mean, you've
like,
got the PS4 Pro.
I mean, yeah,
and you've got
yeah.
whatever. Fuck, Microsoft's got the
Well,
Scorpio
then
or whatever.
let's say a Nintendo. Imagine a
Like a Nintendo console. Yeah, that'd be wild.
Imagine playing Breath of the Wild in 4K.
Dude.
Like, how?
I need new
cool
pants
would that
thinking
be?
about it. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Just more to the point. Like it's. I know a lot of people are hoping that that they'll make the console compatible with 3DS carts. I know that's probably not going to happen.
That's a stretch. Yeah.
But Nintendo is definitely noticing that their like handhelds are outselling their home consoles, so they're definitely trying to capitalize off of that. And I know a lot of people are saying like they're still making games for the 3DS. Like this coming year, there's still going to be a lineup of 3DS games. But if the Switch starts outselling the 3DS, it's gonna get phased out. Like there's no way around it. Like because the Switch will be portable, it is now technically a handheld console. So they're gonna start making games for the Switch that would initially be on like the 3DS. So
I wonder if it's gonna do anything kind of like function kind of like the 3DS with like being in proximity of a TV, like having like the main action up on your TV screen, and then having like side information on the tablet, or
no,
or
if you undock it, it is just on the screen.
Okay.
It doesn't share. It uses USB Type-C, which I know a lot of companies are trying to switch to. I know the iPhones use that, so it's a more universal cable than having to like buy a Nintendo cable.
Yeah.
But let's get to the point here. Do you guys think it's going to outsell the Wii? Do you think it
Hell
will
yeah.
be the next Wii?
Oh,
Based on the information we've been given.
judging by the interest that's been generated so far, I think it'll come close. But I think the Wii definitely, yeah, as we were talking earlier, really just revolutionized a lot of things for Nintendo, and I don't think the Switch is going to come quite close to that.
Okay.
It might sell close. I think it'll definitely sell more than the Wii U.
To put in perspective, there were 2 million pre-orders up internationally, I believe, and they sold out within the first month. I believe for the Switch.
For the Switch, okay.
That is why, like, I know a lot of people are saying, like, oh, there's no consoles. Like, they've made 2 million consoles for the first, like, month of it being released, which is, like, about the same amount that the Wii sold within its first year of being in cycle. So,
I think
I don't know.
I think, and this is kind of just semantics at this point, I think if it doesn't outsell the Wii, and on the record, I do think it will. Like, it'll just blow the waters out.
I think
the
it
water's
will as
out
well.
of the numbers out of the water.
Yep.
If it doesn't, it'll probably just be because it's more of a like just a gaming console,
yeah.
as opposed to like a family-wide console,
Yeah.
which the Wii was.
And you can see that in its marketing. I don't think I've seen a single kid in any
Yeah.
of the trailers that they've shown. It's all been young adults.
Hey, Mom, we should get a Wii U. Remember that fucking I think it was a Wii U commercial where the kids were like
A
trying
Wii U
to
commercial,
sell
a fabled
Wow,
Wii U
that's
commercial.
rare.
I-
Diamond
I-
in the rough.
they were trying to like sell to their parents why they should get a Wii U.
I've
and,
never
like,
once.
Oh god, that commercial was
I've never
terrible.
once
I
seen
remember
a
you
Wii
that.
know
commercial.
what I'm talking about. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
I've
And they're
never
like,
once-
we won't fight anymore because we have the ability to use the gamepad for this and the thing. And it was so bad.
I've
But,
never seen a Wii U
like-
commercial. I'm gonna go on record and say that I've never seen a Wii U commercial.
It might not have been a
Oh,
Wii
yeah, I
U.
can't
I'm
say
pretty
I
sure
have
it
either.
was one, but
Do you guys remember the marketing for the Wii,
It's-
where they had those two Japanese dudes always show up to people's
oh, for the
house?
Wii.
We would like to
And
play.
We would like to play.
Yeah,
I,
those were
I
good.
feel like that was the sole
Those were good.
reason that they named it the Wii,
Yeah.
so that they could just be like Wii. With
Yeah.
Well, because it's supposed to be like inclusive,
Yeah.
like party thing.
Oh,
Which,
Yeah, party
like,
console. We want to play video games.
yeah. And like as far as like the Switch outselling the Wii, it's really just kind of an if-then statement for me, because it's like if you look at anybody who's like a gamer, basically, you can almost certainly assume that they're gonna get it. Like you, me, pretty much everybody
Yeah.
here, anybody involved with video games who actively enjoys them. The reason why the Wii did so well because it was like a video game that everyone could play.
Yeah.
The Switch obviously doesn't have that going for it as much because it's more about just like standard stuff. There's not like all about like this move. Well, I mean, there's kind of the movement stuff, but it's not like this new innovative thing for everybody to try. So basically, if it manages to hold that same spark that the Wii had, definitely it'll outsell. I mean, I guess the other part of it is probably that 10 years have passed and more people that are going to be into gaming are probably going to be there just because
Yeah.
of the way
Yeah.
people are going to be growing up and stuff. So because of that alone, it's probably going to sell more. I mean, you even said they
Yeah.
already pre-ordered like what 2
It's
million.
2 million.
Yeah, I'd say it's partially because of like just more people are around. Because I mean, it's been like what 10 years now. There's got to be like
Yeah.
those kids who were
Yeah,
like
they're gonna
6
be.
when that
Yeah, they're gonna
came
be like
out. Nobody
16.
cared,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be able to buy one on their own.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like much more because like the Switch, in my opinion, is like the perfect console to have if you're on a college campus.
Oh, definitely.
It's going to be
definitely, yeah.
amazing.
I'm gonna go
and
on record
all
with
those people are
Tyler.
gonna buy that.
I'm gonna go on record with Tyler and say it will definitely outsell the Wii within its first year. I will wager it will double the sales of the Wii within the first year.
I feel like that's.
I think that's
reasonable.
I think that is my reasonable like output here. I've never once pre-ordered a console prior to this. I thought that was like such a stupid
yeah.
thing to do, but like I knew like story time. We're sitting here next day after the Wii U conference where they're like, "Oh, Zelda's like a launch title." We're all freaking out in our chat watching it.
Jesus Christ, I was fucking creaming my pants.
And like we're
it
sitting
was-
there. I had the day off
amazing.
school. It was a snow-in day. Sitting here, and I didn't realize that the Switches were going on pre-order the next day. I just happened to like look on Best Buy, and I saw they were up. So I was like, you know what? Let's look into this. Price came out something like with Zelda Breath of the Wild in Canadian dollars, it's gonna work out to like 500 and something bucks, which is a lot of money. And
Yeah.
I was like,
No, it's not.
I was like, do I really, like, do I want
And
this?
you were like, fuck yeah, I
And
do.
I said, no, I don't need this. Closed it out. Hour passed, 2 hours passed. I just keep seeing stuff on the Switch. I keep seeing stuff on Zelda. I'm like, I'm going to want this within the first year it's coming out. And if this is going to be like the Wii again, it's going to take me 6 months to get it post-launch. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that again.
I'm not playing Zelda for 6 months.
13-year-old Cameron is having flashbacks. Or current Cameron is having flashbacks to 13-year-old Cameron. And I was like, it ain't happened. So that's when the 6-hour refresh spree came. But I think it's such an interesting, like, it grabbed me. It was like, you know what? You need this. Like, you're gonna play this. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be like, you're gonna play this more than your PS4. Like, I have a feeling like once games come out, I'm going to play it more than my PS4. So, like, I was going to get Ukulele on the PS4. But now that they've announced it's coming out for the Switch, I feel like that's such a portable game. Like, that's such a good game to take on the go. Like, I'm gonna get it on the Switch now. So, I digress.
Well, and I think the only thing that'll inhibit the Switch from taking over the Wii and console sales will be the stream of games that comes out within
Yeah.
the first year.
Yeah.
Are they gonna pull a Microsoft and have issues with, coming out with games for the release? Because that was the issue with the Xbox One when it first came out. It has no console exclusives.
Yeah.
And all the console exclusives it did have weren't particularly great. Yeah, okay, you had Sunset Overdrive. Not a fantastic game by any means. It's fun, but it's not quite enough.
I've seen like a list of
Here, I have it here. That's exactly what I'm pulling
all
up.
the third-party developers that are like, yeah, we're developing games for the Switch, and it's like massive.
I'm gonna post
like,
this in the
pre-launch
stream chat.
Like having such a large list of developers saying, yeah, we're on board, we're gonna make games for this console. It's like it's gonna be set at least for a couple years.
Yeah, I put a link in the stream chat if you guys are interested to look at the lineup of games that they have announced already for the
it's huge
for the Switch, and it's a large lineup. A lot of them aren't launch. Like there's a good chunk of games for launch. You've got Bomberman, you've got Binding of Isaac, you've got Zelda, you've got I Am Setsuna, World of Goo, Little Inferno, stuff like that.
I am so hype for the next Fire Emblem console game. Like, I've been waiting for it since...
They've announced 3 Fire Emblems in, like, the span of a month.
One of which is already out.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, okay, so we're going to talk about Fire Emblem Heroes briefly after this, but...
I felt like, at least when I played the 2 Fire Emblem console games, like yeah, this is about where it should be, because there's so much information available to you like on the screen that it's kind of like extraneous when it comes to the handheld games, or like just not there. I'm like, and then like the visuals were, for at least like GameCube visuals and like at the time Wii visuals, like they were pretty good, so I'm pretty hyped up for it.
So general consensus here among the 4 of us is that it will most likely outsell the Wii, correct? I think that's our general consensus here. I think three of us are a little more leaning towards the yes than Ethan maybe is, but
it's very conditional for me to say that it wouldn't.
I'm in the same boat as Ethan there.
Okay.
I don't follow the Nintendo hype train as much as you guys.
That's fair. I grew up on Nintendo. I think Tyler did as well, so...
Yeah.
I mean, because like I grew up on Nintendo as well. Like I got a 64 when I was 3, the GameCube. It's just like the Wii was such a letdown to me. That, and I think just like my tastes in video games have changed to the point where I know what my needs are as a gamer. Like, especially where I am now. Like I'm the kind of guy who will like take one game and only play that over and over again for like the rest of my life. So like. Even if the Switch comes out, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna just be playing Overwatch in like a week or in like 6 months, and I could not even have this thing plugged in.
What if they release Overwatch for the Switch? Like, would you?
I wouldn't buy it.
You wouldn't?
No.
I would not buy that. That's only because
I already own 2 copies of it.
Yeah, you have it on PS. So does Austin. Austin has it on PS4 as well.
It's worth.
It's like
it just reminds me of the Call of Duty 3 that came out for the Wii.
Oh god.
With the it had the motion control that was like the gun.
Yeah. World at War came out on the Wii as well.
Yeah, did World at War come? Maybe it was World at War that came out when.
It was COD 4, World at War, and Modern Warfare 2. I think came out on the Wii as well.
So, you know what I would really like to see is, as far as like a first-person shooter.
What?
Fucking another Time Splitters game on the Switch.
I'm down.
Those games were awesome.
I know
great, but that's
people are doing like
buried
for it. Yeah, but I think it's something to do with the IP.
The Joy-Cons have motion control in them. We've learned that much. So you know what, like. I really do feel like they're trying to push away from the motion control, or at least give you the option to do both.
I wonder if it's going to be a thing where they like, at least for the first year of its life cycle, it's like, all right, let's implement it so that if people want to play games with motion control, we're going to have like an in-game option for them to switch in.
I think it's going to be a
regular controller.
I think it's going to be a litmus test to see if people still want to play motion controls. Like I'm sure
it's going to fail.
I'm sure they're going to do like a bunch of like background checks to see like what controls people are using, but yeah, so okay.
Well, it'll vary depending on like what game it is. I think ARMS definitely will be like
I think it'll be
Pretty
heavily
he-
motion control.
I feel like
I
it'll
think
be
so, too.
really heavily motion controlled.
Um,
Unless it really tries to push online play, in which case I feel like it
yeah,
would be kind of bad to have
yeah.
a game so heavily reliant on motion controls be online because of connection issues and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we're running late into the night here, so let's quickly talk about some mobile games, specifically Fire Emblem Heroes. So the question I have specifically for you guys, I'll go over my opinion of it first, is do you think like large companies making mobile games, a la like Nintendo making Fire Emblem Heroes, as well as like Pokemon Go with I know the Pokemon company didn't work with it, but like it's still a Pokemon game. Super Mario Run. Do you think these are actual like decent games? Do you think they're quick cash grabs, or do you think they're good advertisements for like the games that they're based off of? My opinion specifically of Fire Emblem Heroes, because it's most fresh in my mind. I've been playing it for the past like fucking 2 weeks. Thank you, Jesus, for the good rolls. Is
Fuck you.
Yeah.
is
I'm fucking done with you.
I think it's a good advertisement for like
Yeah.
the handheld games.
Indefinitely.
That's the vibe that I kind of got from it from the Treehouse thing that they did for it. where
I
it was
found
just like,
myself like playing through it, and I've played through most of it. I have just the lunatic levels to do for chapters 8 and 9. That's all that's left.
Oh god, dude.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done everything normal. I'm done everything hard, and I have 2 chapters left for lunatic. So just come at me, kiddo.
And then you're just gonna be like dying.
And then I'm
for
gonna wait for the
rest of your
paralogs. Yeah, I'm
existence.
gonna wait for paralogs. I think, especially with Fire Emblem Heroes, it's such a hard format to fuck up. Like there's no way like you can really mess with it to make it bad. That like it's such a simplified and easy version of the game that it really has made me just want to go and play like Awakening and Conquest. So
Speaking of which, did you watch the Treehouse event that they did for Fire Emblem?
Yeah, I watched
The fucking like open world or whatever that they're or like the dungeon crawling that they have for it. Yeah.
Nintendo's
like,
remaking Fire Emblem 2, Fire Emblem Gaiden, for the 3DS.
It's gonna be so awesome.
So what do you guys think? Do you think these games are like? I think I'd wager that Fire Emblem Heroes is a decent enough game to like just play by itself. But I definitely do think it's more of an advertisement for like their main games.
It depends on like because you brought up 4 mobile games that are all very different.
Yeah.
Like Fire Emblem Heroes is a game like because I'm the kind of person who detests like phone games. Like my friends tried to play Brave Frontier. I tried to play it a little bit and it just bored me to tears.
I played the shit out of Brave Frontier, I'm not gonna lie.
Fire Emblem Heroes though keeps me like into the game just because of the way that the levels and stuff are. And I'm the kind of person who never actually played a Fire Emblem game. I played Awakening for a little bit, but after playing this mobile game, I'm probably going to be picking up either Birthright or Conquest in the very near future.
Both of them are good.
Just because of the way that they have the game, because it gives you the gameplay that you are going to be getting more of if you purchase the game. So, I mean, that's kind of my opinion on that one. It's a great advertisement for their actual game. Nintendo did a very good job of it.
They're blatant cash grabs with the gems, like blatant cash grabs, but like...
That mostly depends, in my opinion, on your amount of, like, what's it called? Your self-control, really.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, yeah.
Like,
you can say it's a blatant cash grab, but for Fire Emblem Heroes specifically, the gems are an added bonus to the game, but they're not something that you need to spend money on to get, right?
And they've done
that you grind otherwise.
They've done such a good job of like giving you access to these gems. With you have 3 different difficulties to go through all of the chapters,
plus daily stuff.
Plus daily stuff. You've got like every week so far they've been putting out an event, like a weekend event where you get 6 gems total for completing the 2. So like there's definitely like the access to the gems. It's just whether or not you want to work for them. Which
is the way that it should be.
Case in point, that guy who spent $1,000 trying to get Hector and then didn't.
Hector and never got him.
So like,
I don't think that. All right. Two different games.
Yes.
I thought that Mario Run being like a straight up $10 game was kind of a cash grab. Like they're just like, let's not put out a lot of content for like a $10 price.
Yeah.
But it's the Mario tag, so people will do it.
And it's not like I'm sure there are in-game purchases. I don't think there's a lot.
There are. I know that.
There are in-game
Because
purchases.
people were like, the day that game came out, people were already selling hacks to get it for free.
Yeah.
To get stuff for free.
Nice.
Which I mean, like Tyler was saying, it's perfect because they just put the Mario logo on it and people want to buy it.
Yeah.
Which it's weird because like the game, like you can look at Sonic Run that came out like
Forever
I think like
ago.
2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like that game is completely free if I recall correctly. And you can just do everything by being good at the game. You don't have to spend money on anything. Well, you can spend money, obviously, but you don't need to necessarily. Which is, again, the way that those games should be done. But there's some times where, like, the paywall kind of is a little bit too big, and then it'll cause someone like me to just peace out because there's no point for me.
Yeah. I didn't think that the way they've set up Heroes, though, so far, has been like any more of a cash grab than like any other mobile game really is.
I find
it's like there's enough content to keep you satisfied, and they've already come out saying that like I think every 2 weeks or something they're gonna add like story mode stuff.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be enough like future content for it to be like relevant, like outside. Like it's not gonna get Pokemon Go syndrome where it's just like, all right, this 1 month up, it's completely dead.
The issue
now.
with Pokemon Go though was definitely the update, like drought between like its initial release and them releasing like new Pokemon.
I think the second gen stuff is like supposed to come out sometime
I
soon.
think they've already started releasing some of them. I think they started at the end of last year. Like I wouldn't know. I don't play that game anymore.
I haven't paid attention to it in a while, so
I equate Fire Emblem Heroes to Brave Frontier. I think they're very much similar games in the fact that in Fire Emblem Heroes you have your gems that you use to randomly roll for your summons. Brave Frontier, you do the same thing. You've got your gems. You roll for your random summons. You've got your ability meter up the top to see how many like things you can do, and then you can use your gems or pay cash to re-up your
you
stamina.
also have your stamina meter where
that's what I'm talking
like
about.
if you're out of stamina potions, which they've done a pretty good job of supplying, because they were like, we think people are gonna like really like this game, so let's give them a whole bunch of stamina potions
right
off the get-go so that they can keep playing. But like once they run out, we're gonna have to start charging you for it, because I think you can refill your stamina gauge with orbs. Like
you can, if you run out of potions,
So in that sense, I really don't think it's like any more of a cash grab. Unfortunately, I've played like a few mobile games here and there. Like one of them was it's called Toy Blast. It's kind of like Bejeweled, but like not quite. But it was actually pretty fun. But like, there's the only thing that like stopped me from like continuing to play was like I got like 250 levels into it or something like that. Like I was playing it pretty religiously for a little bit, but like you had a stamina gauge, and like once it was empty, you could keep playing, but you would have to pay like just a little bit, so you can keep playing. In that sense,
it's Candy Crush. It's Candy Crush is what it is, where you're like, ask your friends on Facebook to give you more stamina, so you can keep playing our game.
Yeah, that was actually the point that I was going to bring up as far as talking about, our mobile games cash grabs. King Games, the company that makes Candy Crush and a sort of all sorts of different other mobile games, King, their revenue as of 2014 was over $2 billion for a mobile game company.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they own so many mobile games. I think is where
they own
coming
they
from.
own a ton of mobile games.
And it's like advertising on all those games and the ways that you can purchase things and all that.
Yeah, and everyone knows Candy Crush. People
I would
play
love
Candy
to
Crush
see...
since like 2012.
Because like the thing is with those types of games is they can also export them out to other means. Like in the arcade that I work at, there's a Candy Crush arcade game, like things like that.
Yeah, I would love to see like the like the budget portfolio for like advert.
Yeah. For Fire Emblem.
No, for like Candy Crush or anything, because there's been the ones where it's like the setting is downtown New York, like it was I think it was Candy Crush Saga.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
With like the
Don't you
giant
remember
gummy
Flappy Bird?
oh my god, with the giant gummy bears.
Fuck off.
And it's like stuff. I want to know what they're like, how much they've spent on their actual adverts, because it seems like their production values are like
high. It's pretty high, yeah.
Like, wasn't Flappy Bird a free-to-play game that made like $4 million just because of the advertising? Like, there's nothing else. Like, there's no way you could pay for anything.
Yeah.
It was literally just people playing the game, and that was it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of these sort of mobile game companies make money, is advertising. You gain you make a game that's just all of a sudden viral popularity, like Flappy Bird. Advertising companies are going to be like, hey, we want to get our stuff out there.
Yeah.
And so they pay the developers like, hey, we want to get our ad in the game, and then that's how the developer makes money, with it still being a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
King is no different.
I want to talk about the stamina meter in Fire Emblem really quick before we just wrap up here. It's really interesting because I've played a lot of mobile games because I'm a shitbag and I do. So you look at like Brave Frontier. I've recently started playing Fate Grand Order, and they're both one and the same. Where as you level up, you get more stamina in your stamina bar, so you can continue playing essentially. And then upon leveling up, your stamina bar completely refreshes. What Fire Emblem is missing is that fact. You don't gain levels, and you don't continuously increase your stamina bar in size. You just have the base 50, and by the time you get to like where I am, like the last 2 chapters on Lunatic,
the stamina gate is like so big.
You've got
like,
these,
later on.
yeah, you've got these chapters that are asking you to like use 19 of your 50 stamina, up to like 22 of your stamina, on one mission. So like, there's no leveling. You have to be ready for it, or you can do what I do a mission, then turn it off and wait like an hour and a half, and then go back.
That's kind of what's turning me off of it, because like the wait time on stamina regen is like
it's 5 minutes per one.
It's stupid long.
I think you can look if there was a curve, like it would be really really like low, and then it would just like jet, like it would skyrocket up.
One example I'll use is Marvel Tsum Tsum. Like, it's based off of the little like Tsum Tsum figures. They're like chibi like character faces.
Yeah.
And you just connect them like in a big circle, and it's actually pretty fun. But you have 5 plays in your stamina gauge, and they recharge every 10 minutes. But like each time that you play usually lasts long enough to like it's usually like a minute and a half to like 2 minutes each time you play. Yeah. So it's enough to where like even though you've only got 5, you usually you can play 6 times on one charge because you're playing long enough in each like little match that you're playing. Yeah. And then the recharge time really isn't that bad because it's 5 uses across 10 minutes each, which is less than an hour. So like you could play all your uses and then set your phone down for a while and go do something else, and then it'll be charged back up. With Fire Emblem, it's like, all right, my mission cost 19 stamina. I failed it, and I'm out of stamina because I've already played like a bunch of the other stages, and now I've got to wait fucking like an hour and a half to even get to play the one stage, which is it's really turning me off of it. Like the amount of time that I've put into it has like really slowed. Yeah. Because of the stamina gauge. Like,
yeah, the curve gets really high. Rough. Like it tapers off really hard once you start getting to like the later levels of the hard missions. So
that's one of the factors why I've stopped playing that. The stamina, my rolls and Cam's rolls are like all 3. It's like the Triforce of me not playing this game anymore.
I've got the Triforce of power is what I've got.
Greg and I were talking about this while you went to get tea, I think, Cam.
Fuck. Yeah.
Well, one
About
of the
my
one of the-
roles? Is that what
no,
you're
no, no.
saying?
One of the YouTubers that we follow, it's Kiori's wife.
Yeah.
Janie.
Wait,
She
Kiora has a
got
wife?
like
Okay.
she got like 3 tikis in one roll, and
Three
she's got, like,
5-star tikis, by the
three
way.
5-star tikis in one roll, and she's got like 5 of them.
You get mad at
Albeit,
it's
me.
I'm
fucking
pretty sure
crazy.
she probably spends money on the game, but like,
You get mad at me, but you don't get mad at Riley, who got 2 5-star
I
tikis
am mad
in
at
one
Riley.
roll.
Stop it! I am mad
Okay,
at Riley.
okay. I'm just. All the blame has been pinned on me. That Jesus
That's
is on
because
my
you're
side.
readily accessible.
I mean,
when we're
fair
talking
enough.
to you.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's like when you talk about the stamina mechanic from like a general standpoint, I kind of enjoy that it gets so hard at that point because then it's kind of like a wake up call of like, okay, I'm gonna put this aside and focus on things that I actually need to focus on. Which I mean, I guess you can put it as either way, back or forth. But it even then, it wasn't that bad for me because I already had so many stamina potions put up, so that I would just do like 1 level a day, get my login bonus, and then just be done with the game for then. Because like, I don't like having to open my phone and do this because I'm generally using my phone either to like message someone else or like
Yeah.
do music or whatever the hell else I'm doing.
I've started taking like a charging cord with me to school just because like when I have downtime, like I'm playing these games and they drain your battery so quickly. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, like I had to bring a charging cable over to my computer, which is the other thing. Like if I'm ever at my computer, I'm never touching this game. Like as long as I have my computer in front of me, I'm going to be busy with something else, which is
Yeah.
the main reason why I don't play it that much, or any mobile game to be honest.
Yeah.
Like
Do you
even
think
getting me to
it's-
play a 3DS game is hard.
Yeah. I do think it's doing a good job of like
it's really made me
Hyping
want
it-
to. It's really made
hyping
me want
us
to
up
play
to
like
play-
Fire Emblem games.
the next 2
Yeah.
that are coming out.
I am
Yeah, I'm
beyond
so
excited
hyped.
for Warriors because I love
Yeah.
the Dynasty Warrior games like with all of my heart. So
Yeah.
But the meme is that I am blessed by Jesus because I get like hella 5-star rolls. I got 2 Lins, I've
Actually,
got
Jesus.
Camilla, I've got Takumi, I've got Male Robin.
Dude, I rolled a Camilla yesterday, and when it was doing the little like animation after the roll, I was like, "Fuck yeah! Finally another
4-star.
5-star! Fucking 4-star, man! I'm so mad,
Yeah.
so mad." It's okay though. I've got like 17,000 feathers, so I'm
Cool.
good to
So our
go.
general consensus is that some of them are good games. Some of them are actually good games. More or less just Fire Emblem, but for the most part,
Some are
they're-
good games, some are cash grabs.
Yeah, most-
Everything's a case by case basis when it
Yeah.
comes to mobile games and applications, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's
It's
true.
also just different strokes for different folks. Like I will never be playing another mobile game other than this one probably, just because that's not my thing. Like I only play
Yeah.
mobile games if I'm traveling, and that's like the only reason I have a 3DS and a Vita.
Look, I'm playing Fate Grand Order because I want like all of the sabers. That's it. That's all I want in my life.
You also want to learn Japanese apparently.
Ah, yes. I was sitting in class playing it, like, with a guide with English. Like, I was like, huh, so that's what this is, and that's what this is. I'm scrolling. My buddy Brad's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like,
I
"Oh,
attribute that to like doing a Japanese captcha, like if you're trying to sign up for Fantasy Star Online
Yeah.
2, where you have to like, I had to have a friend come in and like just screen share on Skype in order to get that thing
Yeah.
to get worked out.
Yeah. Well, that exhausts our topics for the night, which brings us to a close of our pilot episode of the TBD show. Hope everybody in chat has enjoyed listening to us ramble for just about 2 hours now.
Takumi's fucking broken. It's true.
Talk Me is broken, yeah. We're looking at doing this probably a weekly basis, most likely Mondays at 9:30 in the evening, so that is Eastern Standard Time, or Daylight Time, whatever it is, whenever it is.
It's Eastern Standard.
Eastern.
So please do come back and listen to us if you have any input. You can reach us, as it shows on the screen,
Except it's wrong.
at ShowTBD is our podcast Twitter.
We'll get the
Okay,
person.
that was the wrong one.
We'll
yeah.
get-
figured
That's not bad.
you know what? I'm gonna go into the overlay, wipe away those titles, and just put in the titles on OBS to make it a little easier. So
Bring me in for the scurvy Greek yogurt stream.
so
What the fuck?
we may have some
I
guests
got
from
you.
time to
Don't worry.
time. Probably one person from our group that is interested in partaking in the conversation that week. I plan on trying to reach out to some people, see if they're interested in coming on talking about certain things. I have some friends in the speedrunning community who would be interesting to come on and hear their input and have a speedrunning discussion, if you will. But for the most part, we'll just be back on Mondays. We'll have a topic or two. We'll ramble for a bit, and then we'll leave you. So, I'm Cam. If you need to find me, like I said, you can find me at Truth Unarmed is my Twitter. I am Truth Unarmed basically everywhere. I have most of my links on my Twitter anyway, so just find me there. Ethan, where can they find you, buddy?
You can find me at Cowboy Cryptid on Twitter. Again, I'm fairly new to Twitter, so you probably won't see a whole lot, but I'm hoping to change that pretty soon. So if you'd like to follow me, you can get all your local sports updates from me.
Nice. Tyler, where can I find you, buddy?
I don't really use Twitter anymore, so.
Okay. Well, you can't find him.
Oh, I mean, I'm on there. I just don't update regularly. It's at Topiner.
Cool.
Topener.
It's on the screen if you need it.
It's
my
on
friends.
the fucking screen.
And Grodin, where can I find you?
You can find me at Grodin42 on Twitter or twitch.tv/Grodin. I play like only Overwatch and League, so if you're into that, you are into that. And maybe I'll start using my Twitter if I actually have enough followers to the point where I feel like it's usable.
Yeah,
so
don't follow at Grodin, because they're an old crazy lady. So
She's an alt-right person.
Oh God,
no. She's against the alt-right is what she was. She was
whatever.
she was-
I didn't read into that enough.
Either way.
I've got too many doppelgangers. I can't follow them all.
Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and joining us this week. We will be back next Monday. And with that, we'll talk to you later. See ya.
See ya.
Adios, everybody.
Bye.